Night falls over the desert. A young man steps gingerly onto a narrow bridge suspended over a chasm of fire. Behind him, the bridge crumbles. Screams echo as others fall into the smoky abyss. Heart pounding, he presses forward. At the far end, a door appears. He knocks, and a man in a white robe opens it. The stranger's face shines with compassion. "Who are you?" the terrified Muslim asks. "I am the owner of the door," the man answers, inviting him inside to safety. Lush green fields and fruit trees stretch beyond the doorway. Angels' trumpets sound. The man in white ascends to a golden throne as an indescribable peace washes over the dreamer. He awakens in tears, breathless. This was no ordinary nightmare. It was a dream that would change his life. Across the globe, countless others report strikingly similar visions. Who is this mysterious man in white who appears in the night? And why are so many Muslims claiming that these dreams led them to a profound spiritual transformation? Main source, persecution.com.
Now, as you can imagine, there's many people interested in commenting on this. That's why you find numbers range from 1 million people a year to 3 million people a year. So as an organization, we decided to put forward that approximately 2 million people are leaving Islam. We identified an organization that indicated that was the figure too in certain parts of Indonesia. So that's where the number came from. I hope that's clear. Now, I'd like to spend one moment on this, and I'd like you all to pay a lot of attention on this. Mercy Mission World takes no comfort in the fact that it's proposed here 2 million people leave Islam.
Welcome to Dreams of Jesus, Muslim Encounters with the Divine. In this series, we journey into one of the most intriguing spiritual mysteries of our time, starting right here with Episode 1, The Man in White, a Global Spiritual Mystery. For centuries, the worlds of Islam and Christianity have been separated by profound theological differences. But in recent decades, a curious phenomenon has emerged at their crossroads. From remote villages in the Middle East to bustling cities in Asia and Africa, men and women raised in the Muslim faith have reported life-altering dreams and visions of Jesus. Often these visitations come unbidden, a luminous figure clad in white, speaking words of peace or guidance in the dead of night. In many cases, these mysterious dreams spark a journey that leads the dreamers to embrace Christianity, frequently at great personal risk and cost. This series, Dreams of Jesus, Muslim Encounters with the Divine, explores this global mystery with respectful curiosity and journalistic rigor. In Episode 1, The Man in White, we will delve into the worldwide scope of these reports, the common motifs that tie them together, the cultural and theological significance of dreams in Islam, and insights from researchers who have studied this phenomenon. Along the way, we will hear real testimonies of former Muslims, told with emotional honesty, about the night visions that upended their lives. Our aim is not to cast judgment, but to understand. What do these dreams mean to those who experience them? Why are they happening now on such a global scale? And what can we learn from the convergence of faith and dreams? Join us as we embark on a journey through facts and faith, through fear and hope, tracing the footsteps of the Man in White. If you are finding this insightful, kindly do us a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell, so that when we upload the next episode, you will receive a notification. 1. A global wave of dreams and conversions. Against all expectations, reports of Muslim to Christian conversions sparked by dreams and visions have been mounting across the globe. This is not an isolated incident or two. It's a pattern spanning continents.
The fact that Jesus is appearing all over the world, almost every nation, for the last 2,000 years, to Hindus, to Buddhists, to Muslims, to Jews, and they're converting. I don't know of any other faith that could make such a claim. So this is I think, a unique phenomenon. There's even I think Bart's aware of this because he referenced Philip Weeby's book, Visions of Jesus, which I'm had enjoyed reading in preparation for my book, and he talks about how there's even a separate study in the psychological understanding of the paranormal and of these type of things called Christic visions, because they're so common and there's so many. This is happening so often, and so that's what I would say is it's really truly a unique phenomenon with, again, the person of Jesus. So this is just another line of evidence to add to all these others that we've been talking about that I think suggests this Jesus rose from the dead. Okay.
Between 1991 and 2007, about 750 Muslims from 30 countries representing every major region of the Islamic world were surveyed about why they decided to follow Christ. The results were surprising. Many spoke of being moved by the love and kindness of Christians they met, or by the Bible's message, reasons one might expect. But a significant number also pointed to something far less expected, a dream or vision of Jesus that they believed came from God.
Of course, when I went to Mecca, I was going there in order to pay homage to the Kaaba and to fulfill the requirements in Islam. But that night, I saw Jesus in a dream. First, Jesus touched my forehead with his finger. And after touching me, he said, "You belong to me." And then he touched me above my heart. "You have been saved. Follow me." "You belong to me," he said. So I decided, okay, I am not going to finish the Hajj, the pilgrimage. Whatever it takes, I am going to follow that voice.
Another study in Mission Frontiers magazine found a similar trend. Out of 600 Muslim background Christians interviewed, 25% cited a dream that led to their conversion. These numbers repeat across different studies, suggesting that this is a widespread phenomenon, not a series of one-off anecdotes. Sources: thegospelcoalition.org, christianitytoday.com.
In the church, if you ask how people came to Christ, 80% will say they saw him in a dream.
So I decided to ask him, and so I did. And then the next day, I guess, I saw a dream, and in my dream, I saw Jesus was a bridge. I decided to come to him.
To understand how remarkable this is, consider the historical context. For much of the past 14 centuries, conversions from Islam to Christianity were relatively rare and often came at a trickle. Today, however, mission researchers observe an unprecedented movement. From 2000 to 2012 alone, at least 69 sizable movements of Muslims to Christianity were documented across 14 countries. Movements defined as at least 1,000 baptisms or 100 new church starts within a couple of decades. These aren't just individual cases, they are entire communities turning toward a new faith. Dr. David Garrison, a missionary researcher who compiled over 1,000 interviews with Muslim background believers, calls this a wind in the house of Islam. He notes that such movements were virtually non-existent in previous centuries, highlighting how extraordinary the current wave is. Even so, he temperately reminds us that the total number of converts remains a tiny fraction, less than 0.5% of the world's billion-plus Muslims. In other words, Islam is still the dominant faith in these regions, but something new is happening on a scale never seen before.
So let me start by just asking you what kind of got you, I mean, here you are, you're a scholar, historian, a political scientist. What got you interested in this topic of Muslims, in a sense, leaving their faith and becoming Christians?
Well, thank you for the kind introduction, Dinesh. I'd always considered Muslims leaving Islam to be a marginal topic of no larger significance beyond the individuals involved. And then gradually over the past few years, I became aware that it's bigger than that. There's something going on. And there are really two aspects to it. One is Muslims becoming atheists, and the other is Muslims converting to other religions, mostly Christianity. And I now see this as a significant phenomenon, both for those involved and also a challenge to Islam, such as Islam has never faced.
Here is a clip from CBN News about the many that are leaving Islam to embrace Christianity.
According to Todd Nettleton of the Voice of the Martyrs, the faith option many are choosing is Jesus, with at least 1 million Muslims reportedly leaving Islam for Christianity. How's the regime reacting to this? We've heard 50,000 of 75,000 mosques have closed, and I'm sure they aren't accepting that very well.
This is not something that is making the regime happy. And really, in many ways, they are seeking to solidify their power and to crush any kind of dissent. And they certainly see the growth of the church. They certainly see Christian evangelism as a form of dissent. We have heard multiple stories this year of a Bible study, a home church being raided. Everyone there is photographed, everyone there is questioned, but then the leader of the meeting is held onto. They are arrested, they are detained, they're put in prison.
Moreover, Nettleton contends family members and friends are more tolerant than the government about leaving Islam.
What's driving this global trend? There are many contributing factors: increased exposure to Christian scriptures through media, disillusionment with extremist violence, the witness of humanitarian work by Christians, and more. But again and again, one catalyst surfaces in testimony after testimony: a dream of Jesus. Mission organizations and church networks from Indonesia to Iran, from North Africa to Central Asia, all report similar stories. In closed countries, where missionaries are few, these accounts often emerge independently. An article by veteran observer Jim Dennison notes that many Muslims have come to Christ in the last 15 years, more than in the previous 15 centuries, and many like Nabil Qureshi are responding to visions and dreams. While exact numbers are hard to verify, there is a clear perception of a global awakening. Main source, denisonforum.org. Crucially, these conversions usually come at a high price. In many Muslim-majority societies, leaving Islam is socially taboo or even illegal. New Christians can face intense persecution, harassment, ostracism by family, violence, or worse. Devout Muslims who turn to Jesus often risk their jobs, their community, even their lives. And yet, in recent years, hundreds of thousands do so anyway. Drawn by a spiritual pull, they find impossible to ignore. It's a testament to how powerful these dream experiences must feel to those who have them. As one observer put it, such converts have so little to gain and so much to lose. Their courage speaks to the profound hope they've found. This wave crosses borders and backgrounds. In Iran, a young mother has a vivid vision of Jesus and seeks out a secret house church. In Indonesia, a hardened militant claims Christ appeared to him in a nighttime vision and softened his heart. In Nigeria, an imam, Muslim cleric, dreams of a man who says, "You are preaching about me," leading him to study the Bible. In the United States, the son of Pakistani immigrants, the aforementioned Nabil Qureshi, prays for guidance and receives a series of clarifying dreams that lead him to Christianity. These individual stories span languages and cultures, yet so many contain strikingly similar elements, as if someone is composing a global tapestry, one dream at a time. What exactly happens in these dreams? Are they all the same, or do they follow certain patterns? That is exactly what we are going to look at in the next episode. Let's look at the common motifs that emerge from hundreds of these accounts.
The man in white, and then there is the signature image, Jesus appearing in a white robe. The opening story of this episode, featuring Jafar from Iraq, is one dramatic instance. Let's revisit Jafar's testimony briefly. Jafar was a 23-year-old Shiite Muslim from Iraq, wounded and traumatized by war, questioning his faith and his future. In his despair, he challenged God, "If you are there, show yourself." That night, he dreamed of walking a perilous path over hellfire, with people screaming behind him as they fell. At the end of the path was a door, and a man in a white garment opened it, calling Jafar to enter a place of light and safety. Twice he had this exact dream, and he wondered, "Who is this person who came to me?" The search for an answer led Jafar to investigate Christianity. He found a Bible teacher online and gradually came to believe that the man in white was Jesus. Once Jafar converted, the consequences were swift and harsh. When he confessed his new faith to his father, the older man flew into a rage and beat Jafar with a metal rod until his own arm gave out. Jafar fled for his life, yet he did not turn back to Islam. Today, he's a secret believer, sharing about Jesus, carefully through social media, with others in his community. What gave him the strength to persevere through such persecution? If you ask Jafar, he'll tell you he met Jesus, not in a church or through a missionary, but in his dreams, as a loving figure in radiant white who called him out of fear and into hope. Source, persecution.com. Stories like these are echoed across cultures. An Algerian woman saw Jesus in a vision, telling her, Jesus is not dead, he is here. A startling message in a context where many are taught that Jesus never died on the cross. A man in Egypt dreamt of Jesus placing his hand on him, leaving him filled with an indescribable peace that lingered for days. In one particularly cloak and dagger account from Cairo, 10 Muslim theology students all had dreams of Jesus around the same time. They secretly met to compare notes and became believers together. With no one to guide them, they ended up kidnapping a Christian missionary. Yes, you heard that right. Not to harm him, but to ask him to teach them more about the Bible, since they couldn't come out as Christians publicly. As bizarre as that sounds, it highlights how desperate and determined these dream-driven converts can become in their quest for truth. Sources: ChristianityToday.com, DenisonForum.org. Across all these accounts, the content of the dreams seems tailored to the individual, often addressing a deep question or need that person has. Yet the central figure is the same, a person distinguished by overwhelming love, authority, and holiness, whom the dreamers later identify as Jesus Christ. The consistency of the themes, especially the man in white motif, fascinates both believers and skeptics alike. It raises profound questions. Is there a larger pattern at work? Why these particular symbols and messages? To probe further, we must understand how the people having these dreams interpret them, and that means looking at the role of dreams within Islam itself. These visions don't happen in a vacuum. They carry meaning partly because of the dreamer's cultural and religious framework. So next, we explore what dreams mean in Islamic theology and tradition, and why they hold such sway in the hearts of those who see them.
If you have found this episode insightful, kindly like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when we upload the next episode, you will receive a notification. If you have any questions, you want to contribute to this video, or share your experience, kindly do so in the comments below. To watch other videos on Islam versus Christianity, click on the top right corner of this video.